Hi guys, welcome to Little Wicket Railway. I'm Rob, and in this video we're looking at how to install the Hornby TTS sound decoder for a Class 67. And the reason I wanted to share the installation of this sound decoder with you is because it is not straightforward. It requires some soldering and there is nothing in the instructions that tells you how to do it. Okay, so we've got the sound decoder here. This is R8105. We've got our Class 67 loco, and I've got the instruction sheet. This is not filling me with confidence so far. We've got 2 number 4s and the F has turned into an envelope. Okay, let's look at how to get the body off. So this is telling us we've got these 4 screws to remove. So that's step 1. Let's get on with doing that. Here's my flathead screwdriver. And if you're wondering why I'm struggling a bit, it's because I'm trying to reach around the camera to do this and look at it through the viewfinder. So apologies if it takes me a little bit longer than normal. That's 2. Number 3 is just under there. And that's number 4. So let's turn this up and they should drop out. There's 2. Keep those over there. And the other 2 just stuck on the bogey. There's 1. And the last one. There we go. That's all 4. So now, in theory, the body should just slide off according to the instructions. Yeah, that was easy enough. So let's just put that to one side. And here we go. So now it's time to open up the decoder. So what have we got in here? Quite a lot by the feel of it. So there's the decoder. And we've got some instructions. A huge pack of instructions. So we've got 2 bits here. So this one first. This is the manual, and it is enormous. It tells you all about the different CV settings. I've seen some of these with the other TTS sound decoders. The most interesting part is this functions list, which tells you what each of the functions will do and which sounds will play. So what's this other sheet? Something to do with the warranty and how to fit the decoders. Quite a lot to read there, and it all seems pretty generic. So basically saying that you might or you may or may not be able to fit your decoder into your model depending on what type of model it is. And if there isn't a socket, you'll need a degree of electrical skill and knowledge involving soldering. Okay, fair enough. Well, I believe this one was designed to fit a TTS decoder, so hopefully it should be fairly straightforward. Let's get this open. Okay, so we've got 2 little screws there to hold the speaker in place. And here's the speaker and the decoder. Quite a large speaker and quite a large decoder, really. And it's got one of those 8-pin connections on it. Quickly check the instructions again. Now, my decoder doesn't look anything like the one in the diagram. So I'm not entirely sure what to do here. Well, let's take, this is the blanking plug. This is what allows it to run on DC. So take that out. It's worth keeping that, just in case you ever want to turn it back into a DC locomotive. Let's unwrap this, and first of all let's just plug it in and see whether it works, and maybe everything will become clear when we do that. So let's find where pin 1 is, and that should go in where the little arrow is on the socket. And now, where do we put this enormous speaker? Let's double check the instructions. There is no other useful information on this sheet. Figure 7? Figure 7 is not helping me. Right, let's just plug it in and have a go. Okay, so it's all working. That's a good start. Oh, and it sounds good. That's this is just the function 1 generic background noise, and I've turned it up to about half power now on the select controller. So I've had to kind of balance it on the end of the rolling road because both bogies are driven in this model, and I don't have enough rollers to fit them both on, so it's kind of balanced off the end. That's function 2. So it's all working, that's great. I just got to figure out where to hide this speaker. Right, I've done some research, and apparently the speaker is meant to go into there. So let's unscrew these screws and take a look. And it does indeed look like there is space in there for a speaker. We've got 2 holes there, which I think are designed to hold the screws either side of the speaker case. But the obvious problem here is that we are going to have to detach the speaker from the wires, because the decoder's got to go on top and the speakers has got to go underneath. So I suspect this is going to involve some soldering. Let's start by removing these 4 screws and have a look how this wire is connected to the speaker. Yeah, just as I thought, the wires are soldered to the speaker, so we're going to have to desolder those. So I must say, overall, I'm not too impressed with this so far, Hornby. Before we do that, let's at least check to see whether the case fits in to the space and that it attaches with the screws. So here are the screws provided. So that just drops in there and then fits into here. Just make sure I've got the space for the wire towards the bottom, because we're going to go through that hole next to where the switch is. Let's get that screwed in. Let's do the other one. So that's a case in place. Let's unsolder the wires. There's one. And 2. Okay, so let's take the ends of the wires and just thread them through this gap. I'm using the same gap that these switch wires are using, so that's gone through pretty easily. I don't think they're going to get in the way. And if I just tuck it under the same way that these wires to the switch are going. You see, I've wrapped a small piece of electrical tape around the decoder, and that's because the electrical components are exposed on these decoders, and I don't want them making contact with anything and potentially causing a short circuit. Let's resolder the wires onto the speaker now. Shouldn't matter which way round these go, but we'll do it the same way round that we took them off. I hate soldering and I'm not particularly good at it, but they look like they'll stay in place. If the speaker suddenly stops working, we know it'll be my dodgy soldering. So let's put this back in place and get those 4 screws back in. So now we can put the case back on. Just make sure those wires are tucked in. You can see the switch there that switches from nighttime to daytime running lights. There we go, let's plug the decoder back in and check that it's all still working after my soldering. Just tuck that on top for the time being. There we go. That all still appears to be working, which is good news. So let's put the bodywork back on. There is a right and wrong way round to do this, so make sure the screw holes align and that the grate is at the right end. And it does feel a little bit tight on top, but it should be okay. I think that's gone on. Let's get the 4 screws back in. So here we are back on the rolling road. It's all working now, the bodywork's back on, and because the bodywork's back on we can see the lights in action. So this has got lights on both ends. It's currently set in the nighttime running mode. So I'm going to switch the direction now and you'll see that the lights change to being on the rear. And that's pretty cool. So there you go, that's how to install the Class 67 Hornby TTS sound decoder, and as you can see, it's not straightforward. Hopefully you found that useful. If you did, then please give me a like and a subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will hopefully see you again soon.